Check 1 2, check 1 2. What is up, guys? Here it is, your boy Kagi, back at it again with a new video. And in this video, I bring you the founder of Football.fun. You guys already know this platform is absolutely blowing up right now. His name is Adam. Adam, introduce yourself, bro. Happy to have you here. Thank you for taking this interview and your time. I appreciate it very, very much. And just introduce yourself. Let people know who you are and what you're building. All right.
My pleasure, man. Thanks for the kind intro. Yeah, my name's Adam. I'm founder of Football.fun. We've obviously been building Football.fun for nearly a year now. I've got a background working in fantasy sports, been in crypto for about 5 years. Worked in a crypto payments business as well, I sold another startup previous to this. But fantasy sports has always been my passion. I think there's been a real gap in the market for like a real kind of crypto native sports platform, like following the thread from like Top Shot to So Rare. And we're looking to kind of like push that boundary even further. And we just kind of, we've been building since February, but actually we're kind of like not, we existed, but we didn't make a lot of noise, like quite deliberately. But then we launched our pro game 2 weeks ago, and it's just been insane ever since. We started over a year ago, like just literally writing like the game design document and like planning out like what it was actually going to be. And then we started building it just with our own money. So I think it cost us $80,000 to get to the MVP version by February. And we tested that in a like closed group with about 2,000 users for about 6 months. And yeah, it was retaining people. People were enjoying it without money, which is really important. And then 2 weeks ago, we launched it live on base with the money in, and then that's when the juice turns on, like that's when people really go, oh shit. And we executed a kind of very Web3 native marketing approach. We've all been in the space a long time, like guys like Caleb that work alongside me. So we know what crypto Twitter wants. We know that even if you've got a really good product, doesn't mean shit if the number doesn't go up and it's not exciting and people aren't able to do what they want to do. And if you look at every good crypto app that has been successful, they're really fun and they're liquid and they move fast. So things like Pump.fun, Polymarket, like you can just do it. It works straight away. And it's kind of liquid and fast. So that's what we've built.
Absolutely. And now walk me through some of the fantasy market kind of, how are you thinking about this? What kind of research do you do to understand, like, is this app going to work even for Web 2? Because obviously it works for Web 3, kind of like, you're kind of speculating a little bit and all that stuff. But then you're also hitting a big market in Web 2. And I did my research a little bit, and it's kind of insane. It's actually pretty huge. And I knew it was big because all my friends play fantasy football, American football, which is not the real one, by the way. They all play this crap. And I'm like, I never played it, but I knew it was big. And they've been playing for long periods of time, years, many, many years. So what inspire you to do this? What kind of research inspire you to say this is the type of app that we need and hits both markets, right, at the same time?
I think it will. We've obviously focused on like crypto native. You couldn't invite normal people to this app right now. Like it's too volatile, too crazy. But that's fine. We also have a free to play version live now, by the way. So like we will be introducing that to a wider audience. We already know it's fun because people were playing since February, over 50% retention before anyone made a cent in the game. So it is actually fun, even without the money. But I think the money makes it more exciting for crypto people. So the vision is you have this pro game. This is kind of like crypto native people, but also crypto will just become more normal. Like in the next 3, 4, 5 years, it will stop becoming such a weird thing to do. I actually would not build this game without crypto, which is an interesting thing to think about. I think the level of transparency that you need in a game like this, like people need to be able to track, like they like their June analytics. They like to know how much money's in the market. They like to know how many other people are coming along for the ride. Otherwise, if that wasn't available, you'd just be relying on what I told you, and that's not enough, right? So there's been other platforms in like Web 2 who have tried to make like football stock markets. They've all been a shit show. One of the reasons has been lack of transparency. So That's good. Also, like building secure tech yourself, very, very hard. Whereas when you can just build on base and like utilize that technology, kind of speeds you up a couple of years in your development as well. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. We're also our name is actually Sport.fun as well. So we are for all the Americans. Yes, we are doing NFL and NBA, and we're sort of actively working on that because the infrastructure does clone. Like if you can build a trading platform for one set of athletes, it works the same for anything else. What we need to do is I'm actively hiring an NFL sicko to come and work alongside with me and make sure that the game feels authentic to NFL fans because I'm not a massive NFL guy. I probably will become one because we'll have to do that. But yeah, we want to hire like the right people to bolt onto the team and make sure that it feels like a really authentic experience as well.
Perfect, perfect. And now going back to crypto, and that was one of my questions. Are you going to build other apps? And we'll go into a little bit later on. But going back to crypto, what made you decide to go into Base? Is there like a connection with you and Base right now? Is there a collaboration, like active collaboration, or is it more like you just launch on Base and then they picked up on it later on?
I mean, there wasn't particularly. We had the sort of general, they have a general sort of good service for like new apps onboarding the chain. They're quite supportive, but they don't tend to like go all in. I don't think until apps have really sort of proved themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're quite worried about like backing a Ponzi or like backing something which isn't real. We're certainly getting a lot more attention now. So we had like Jesse DMing me like, "Hey, look, this is cool. Can you walk me through?" So I got him on board, and he really loved the product. And I think we had a moment last week where we did one of our player drops, and it actually not quite broke base, but we hit a previously unknown like usage limit on base. And after that, like literally an hour later, I got a DM from Coinbase Ventures, like, do you want to, can we chat? So it does, that sort of thing does get you on the radar, like when you start breaking records. And I think we are, according to DeFi Llama, we are now the number one base app by volume and revenue.
Hey, bro, congrats for real. There's nothing better than a founder like you that I can already tell. Look, my eyes got watery because you know why? You know why? This is kind of gay, but it's all right. It's all right. It got watery because the reality is that founders that hit these levels, they usually don't have, their delusional level is up here, and you're like stable on this. Like, you're building, everything is good. Yes, we're number one, but we still have a lot of work to do. So I can feel that energy of like we're not where we want to be yet. So this is not necessarily a victory lap right now. To
I'm quite
celebrate.
notorious in the team. It's like, you can, like, even getting this far, most guys would be like, wow, we're done. But I'm quite mentally, I'm always like, all right, I get to that goal, hit that goal, maybe have a steak and a beer. And then I'm like, right, what's next? Like, because we're not even like, we're at, yes, okay, highest volume revenue on base. Also, meme coins have way higher market caps than we do. Like, so much further for us to go. If you look at like how far Top Shot, like, we were actually faster out the gates than either Top Shot or So Rare by like way orders of magnitude. But if you look at like how far they got, we're like way behind like where they got over years. So that's our next goal. Is like, everyone got introduced to us like kind of like a sports meme coin casino. They're going to learn that actually there's a really cool, fun, rewarding game for the long term here. So that's our next job, is like just keep showing up and show people that this isn't something that can just be like footed away in 2 weeks because you're sidelined or you're upset or whatever. Like we ain't going away. So
All
yeah.
right, all right. Hey, let's go into some of the difficulties that some of the people, including myself, I'm in those difficulties like as a user, kind of experiencing. So number one, a lot of people are talking about lawsuits and all of this stuff, IP rights. I already know this from my side, but for the people that don't know, yeah, like you guys obviously have the rights to do this because you're not using real names, you're not using like the real logos. And what do you have to say to those people, because they're still not convinced? It's inevitable, they say.
Of course they do. You know who says it the most? It's people who hold a lot of officially licensed digital collectible cards tend to be the guys who are most concerned about this. I think we obviously license the data from Opta, very reputable firm. We've got other data providers as well. We've been through, we're VC backed, right? Like we're backed by 6 Man Ventures, Sigil Fund, Z Prime Capital. Like these are not idiots, right? They do their diligence. And if there was an issue with that, we wouldn't have got funding. They do look into this. We're obviously not idiots ourselves. We've been around fantasy sports a long time. We got this checked with a very, very experienced lawyer. They went through every screen of our app, just like, okay, this is fair use. They actually suggested, hey, some of these logos might be a little bit too similar, so we changed them. And then they said, right, look, you're good. The world is full of unofficial fantasy sports games. DraftKings is not an official fantasy sport. It doesn't have an official license. You're on the same basis as that. Now, we obviously know that, like, probably some virgin somewhere who knows they'll know a club and they'll be like, hey, look at this. You should write. They're not paying revenue rights. You should write to them, and they'll write to us, and they will get the standard letter that we've got already prepared, which says, this is our position. We're confident to defend it if we have to. So we're not saying that people won't have opinions. They always do, especially like the more successful we will become a target. But we're confident in our position. And I think everyone knows instinctively that these games do exist. Like, look at DraftKings just as one example.
Yeah, absolutely. There's many games like this, and at the end of the day, I think if you hit escape velocity, rather than lawsuits, I think more partnerships are on the other side. Than that's what happens a lot with games that or projects that kind of like have kind of like this gray area, or it seems like there's a gray area, because this is the right thing to say. It seems like it is, but obviously you guys.
In the last week, I've been contacted by 3 clubs who are like, hey, could we do something here? Mm-hmm. The number of letters I've got complaining is 0. So exactly. Like, if anything, yeah, there are opportunities to work with clubs, absolutely. What I've been very keen on, though, is like staying lean in our costs. So one of the issues on like the officially licensed games is that some of the clubs want 40%, 60% revenue share. Like, if you agree to that, you've made your game innately extractive. Like, you can't service that and reward users in the way we want to reward them. So there is a reason. It's not that we're cheap. Like, it wouldn't actually be our money we were using for those deals. It would be the money that we want to actually give to users. So one of our central bets, and this is like one of my parts of the pitch to the VCs when we were pitching them last year, was one of the bets we have is that people care way more about rewards than they do about looking at pictures of dudes, right? Like, what they really want is rewards. So we maximize that, and we try and keep our cost base really small. That includes, like, we're a remote team. We don't have fancy offices in Paris, New York. We keep it really lean, maximize rewards. That's how you excite people, and that's how you like retain people.
Yeah, and let's go into that a little bit. The economic model that you guys have, you mentioned a little bit here that it wouldn't work. A lot of people have been complaining about the fees. Can you explain the economic model of the fees? I know there's a certain percentage that you talked about. I think 40% of the 5% that you guys take, which is like the base 5%, and then there's like a surge. Depending on whether the market goes up or down, there's a lot of volatility, and that makes sense to me. That's absolutely makes sense to me. So just explain to the audience here why you went this route, and how does that benefit not only the team but also the players at the end, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a real split here that we've just leaned into and been like, hey, look, this is what we're doing, and we're doing it for a good reason. So almost unanimously, the real players of the game don't care about the fees, with the exception of the surge fee, which is unfortunate that it catches them sometimes, but it's not actually aimed at them. That's aimed at the guys who are trying to flip and just kind of treat this as like quick in and out. So I actually have guys in my DMs who cry because they flipped a player within 4 minutes and got taxed 20% on their flip. And he's like, bro, I only made $16,000 because you taxed me. I'm like, well, yeah, like I did.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Like, you still made $16,000. We're not saying you can't. We're just saying you get taxed appropriately on your way out. Now, please don't come back. Fine. It's like you have to pick who your people are, right? Like, and our people are the real players of the game who want to help us build a market. Because guess what? That $1 million you might have on your P&L isn't real. Like, unless we build the market and we build that liquidity, you're not going to cash out for anything like that. So what you've got actually is the opportunity to sort of come with us on that journey. And we try and every opportunity we have to make it better value to, play the game rather than be someone who's just clipping off the edges. We do that. So that's why we've done this like good lads, bad lads meme of like, just like maximizing access and allocation to the people who are doing it right. Absolutely doesn't mean you can't trade. Like, you can buy, you can sell. The algorithm picks up on people who actually just take money off platform, like really quickly, effectively.
Okay, perfect. And can you talk a little bit more about the 40%? Because you mentioned this, but I'm not sure you have this locked down. Is that like a locked number already? Like the 40% of the 5% goes back to some buybacks or something like that. Is that right?
So what we're doing, like 40% of the 5% is going to go on a aggressive rev share scheme, basically. So like growing the market is the best thing we can do for everyone in the ecosystem. Who's going to do that? It's actually guys like you, like creators, people who have a lot of friends, people who are like big in, there are a lot of people who pop up who are just like massive in like the betting industry or whatever. And they just do that. What they want is like a really aggressive referral share scheme. And then they just go to town and they acquire loads of users for you. So we're going to be rolling that out. It's the draft scheme is basically like 20% to the referrer, 20% to the guy who is referred as like a bonus, so that everyone kind of wins from that arrangement. So that's 40% covered. We're also going to do some buybacks. Like at some point, we'll need to we'll probably want to grab some players back out of the game and put them back in the reward pool to like recycle them back into the economy. Buybacks are like super popular right now. Everyone gets them. They're like bullish for the economy. And then whatever's left, we also pay your gas on base. And then whatever's left, we spend on like basically building the company and running the company.
Yeah, absolutely. For your JAT. Yo, if you do a JAT, it better be a popping party. No, none of that Bored Ape crypto party, something
no,
not
man.
something.
I don't crypto, I don't think no one begrudges you that much. Like if you've done your time and you've done a good job, why not? Why don't I deserve a yacht?
Of course, 100%. I actually agree with that. As long as it's not, I tweeted about this a lot. It's like these automatic extraction that never goes back into the ecosystem. That's another conversation.
That is the problem. It's the guys who deliver fuck all and then take money out. Like, no one has a problem with people who build genuine products and then make some money.
Yeah.
If we start having a problem with that, no one's going to build anything.
Yeah, of course. What is this? This is capitalism. That's what we're here for. Everybody's trying to make money. It's all right. But anyways, let's jump into the next segment right here. And I think I've seen a lot of players talk about this. I'm actually a little bit concerned, but at the same time, not really. And it's about the player drops, dilution of players. How do you see this? Because I see it on two sides. There might be some dilution if you start bringing out players, but at the same time, at some point, the liquidity is going to catch up to that dilution and it's going to accommodate for the amount of players that you have released. So are you thinking about almost like dropping a coin and dropping all the coins all at once, or 80% of the coins like all at once in the market, and then over time, if the project is good, then the liquidity would absorb those amount of coins? So is that how you're thinking about this? Or are you going to do it slowly?
It's tightly limited, so we're not going to do this forever. There are like 5,000 players in world football. We're only going to do about 200. So it's limited to like the top stars, and it's less mental load for a lot of people. Then they don't have to learn too many players, but also it doesn't then spread the liquidity too thin. So games like So Rare have like 10, 20,000 players. They do every league in the world. Imagine like when you concentrate all that liquidity into just 200 assets, it runs, man. So we obviously need more liquidity, that needs growth. So that's why we're doing like the referral scheme and other things. But yeah, we're going to be dropping another 100 players over the next month, which basically kind of nearly completes the market. And then after that, there's going to be we have it's sort of like a meta game called Scouting, where the users of the platform will actually decide who joins next. So this will be like a big degen sort of thing, where probably aimed at like the real crypto natives, where it's a little bit like a kind of Pump.fun, but for sports, where if you think you've seen a player who's like 16 and you think they're going to go to Real Madrid, you can like basically stake token against them and be like, all right, this is my pick. If you're successful, like if they're the most popular player that is scouted and everyone chooses them, you get the entry price. So like the 0.0125. So I think that's going to be really exciting for like a lot of the crypto natives. So they decide who goes on, and in order for a slot to become available, one of the players has to retire. So it can work the other way. Like players break their legs, they move to different countries of the world, they'll go to zero. Like people will just sell them into the decks, and we'll replace them with new players through the scouting system.
Nice, nice. I was gonna jump into that later on, but now that you're talking about new metas, new gameplays, new loops, that's an interesting one. What about loops like a guild versus guild? You know, your group of friends. You know, each friend puts 3 players. Maybe there's 10 people. There's 30 players chosen, and then a leaderboard of guilds. Whoever has the most points, top 5 guilds get a certain amount of points. Is that something you're thinking about? You know, just kind of expanding on the same kind of idea in different ways.
Yeah, we call them teams. Nerds call them guilds. KG, we're sports jocks.
All right, all right.
So I'm kidding. I'm a Warcraft player. I'm a nerd as well.
Oh, good, oh, good, oh, good.
But yeah, we actually do have that to switch on. So the idea that you can have like a friend group. In beta, we also had rewards. So like if your group was like the top scoring, like collectively top scoring or like highest skill, you'd all get like extra rewards. So we could think about how that works as well. But yeah, like these games are always built around socials. Like the core, if you think about Football.fun, I actually describe it as like a second screen experience sometimes. It's not a game in the way that you're glued to it, like playing, or it's not a shooter. It's typically like you have your group chat on the screen, you're chatting about it with your friends, you've got it on the side. We're the bit, you might be watching the game on your third screen, like live. We're the bit that makes you care. Like you've got kind of skin in the game, and the reason, and the focus of it is actually your group chat. So like there's so many social features coming in as well, where like our Discord is a mess. Like it's worse when you're in it, I'll be honest. But it's always a mess.
Hey, I got banned, but I'm back. I
Yeah,
turned a new leaf. I turned a new leaf.
but yeah, like we're going to have a lot of that social experience in the app itself, because not everyone uses it. Probably like 5% of our users use Discord. So like we're going to have that social experience in the app, so you'll be able to like live react to stuff. It's going to be, there's so many cool things. Like people, this is not a complete product by any means. It's like it's probably 6 months behind. The vision I have in my head is probably 6 months build to get to where we want to be.
Perfect, perfect. Now let's jump quickly into marketing plans. I'm gonna go like crazy here. Super Bowl, you know, $1 million for a Super Bowl. NBA games, MMA events. You know, maybe the crypto MMA, which I fought and I lost. I forgot the name. What's it called? Karate Combat.
But at least though.
Yeah, no, of course. I could go against anybody. I'm not scared of anything. Even if I lose, I don't care. It's part of the game. But
Yep.
are you thinking about this type of marketing schemes? These are like, you know, next level marketing schemes. Obviously, this is not like you're a Twitter KOL, you're a YouTuber. Well, YouTubers can work too, like high end YouTubers in the millions, right? So you thinking about this?
Yeah, we've got another mode to switch to. We've got other gears to hit. Like this is really focused on crypto native people. I think it would be a Super Bowl ad right now would be like, well, A, it's not on, B, waste of our time, because you can't introduce normal people to this platform. It's crazy. Give us 6 months. It will be, I think, a deeper market, a little bit more rational. We'll have a chance to build out extra features, make it more user friendly. There's rough edges on it that I'm not happy with and need to be fixed before people start getting it. And then that is typically when you want to turn on your big marketing spend and have those set piece moments. We are already speaking to some like athletes to be like face of brand, guys who like big personalities, suit our brand image. So yeah, I've been having calls with some like Champions League winners this week, which is super exciting. So we'll be doing that, I think, sooner rather than later, because that's something even like crypto people get. If like you can get interest from like big stars of the game, that is a cool thing as well. But yeah, we'll be continuing like crypto native marketing for the rest of this year. I think next year is when we start thinking more about the free to play and getting a wider audience. So we already have deals with like mainstream sites like RotoWire in the States. We're already on RotoWire and doing a regular deal with them. In the equivalent in the UK is Fantasy Football Scout. They're actually one of our original investors, so we're going to be on their site as well. So yeah, we've got the distribution, but it's just waiting for like the right moment when you know you're kind of ready for that wider audience.
Absolutely. And for example, you don't even have card buy-ins right now. Everything has to be with crypto. Is that something you're thinking about in the crypto side of the app for normies that want to get into crypto, but in the normie way? Is that something like an
Yeah,
on-ramp? It's
it's
simple.
super. It's super easy to do. Even
Yeah.
now, like you can, because we use Privy wallets. If you
Hmm.
go and log into Privy Home, their app, you can pay with a credit card, and it will put gold straight in your balance. I don't think we've really told anyone yet, but you can.
Okay. Okay.
And then we're gonna basically white label that and put it in app. It's actually it's quite amazing. Like if you were building in crypto 4 years ago, that would have been a 6 month job.
Crazy.
It would now actually take us about 2 days when we get around to it. It's not hard.
Yeah. Now you talked about NBA, NFL expanding into different kind of sports. I know you talked about you have like a sports.fun. So this is like later on, right? Are you trying to build simultaneously? Wouldn't that take focus away from like, building with a small team and stuff like that?
Yeah, it is a risk. There are certain things you can do. So we're having the UX designed, we're having all the jerseys designed, we're getting all that stuff done. That doesn't detract from the core business. That's
Correct.
almost like separate design unit. A lot of the tech you're working on at the same time. So like building a marketplace that trades NFL players is exactly the same as
It's
building
copy
for what
pasta
with
basically.
copy pasted that bit. The bit that we need to work on is actually the authentic NFL or NBA element.
Understanding. Yeah,
Yeah.
the understanding of the market, of the
It might not.
players.
Yeah, and like I really understand football, so I am able to like once the more people play this game, like particularly like the real fantasy football like enthusiasts, they sort of see the detail behind it. They're like, oh shit. Like as the more they play, they get it. I think if I was to try and do that for NFL, I might not get it because I haven't like grown up in that sport. I know a bit about it, but I'm not like that guy. So we're hiring like an NFL sicko basically who will come in and help us like make that really feel authentic. But that fantasy sports part of the game, it's like a 6 week build. Like it's not that difficult. The hard bit is actually all the blockchain tech, and that stuff is actually the trading stuff. Because people think this is a sports game, it's actually more like DeFi, like in the bones of it.
Hmm.
We've actually built something which would be considered like a high grade, like financial product. It's not easy to do, but that bit, if you're improving what we're doing, you're also already building the NFL part of it as well.
Absolutely. And a user asked, interesting question. I think you guys are not there yet, but would there be like a cross loyalty system across these games? If I'm playing, your football app, how do I benefit in NBA, NFL as a user, across XP or something like that? I'm not really sure how that would.
100%.
Yeah.
It'll be one account. So if you've built up like a good reputation score in the game, then you've seen how we do business, right? Like
Hmm.
everyone the people who really play and don't extract, like they're the ones who always get the benefits. It will be exactly the same when we roll out NBA and NFL. Like we will kind of make sure that those people are looked after. But to the point of the question, it is too early to roll out another sport and another DEX. I think early next year might be a good time to get this out, but it's not going to be next week. I am aware, like all these guys who always roll out every time there's like a new meta. They're like, oh yeah, we built that too. No, you didn't. Like there's like copycats coming up and like, oh yeah, we built that. We can get that. We can get NBA.fun out in 3 days. Crypto Twitter is in some ways like brain dead in that they will descend on something.
It's brain rotted.
But they're actually quite discerning as well. Like they will look at that and instinctively know that that's not a real thing. It took us a year to build this thing, and our devs are very, very, very good. What if someone's bringing something out in 3 days? What they're doing is rebranding a failed token launchpad and putting jerseys on the tickers. It's not the same thing, and it won't be a real game. So, we want to get it out there that we're doing it, just to kind of reassure people that the kind of
There's more.
Our version is coming, and you don't necessarily need to. They might do us a favor, like the sort of speculative user might be best off like going on the kind of budget version, and then maybe they'll leave our decks alone. That would be quite cool.
Yeah. I like that. The budget. Budget version. You guys heard it here first. Any other app that competes with this app is a budget version. You heard it here.
There's no second best, brother.
There's no second best. I like it, bro. Now, we're almost at the end of the interview here. We have a few more questions. When dark mode? Simple question right there. Holy shit.
I have dark mode on everything, so it pains me not to have it, but it never quite makes it to the top of like the thing we need right now. But yeah, it is essential. I get horrified. Sometimes I realize people use like Discord in light mode and they send me screenshots, and I sort of question them as an individual. So it does need dark mode. It is coming.
Now, I have a complicated, and it's not complicated. It's more like I want to see your thoughts on this. And this just came up, so I have to like shoot it here. It comes back to the marketing. There's new websites in the past maybe 5 years or 10 years that have been competing, maybe 5 years, that have been competing with obviously TV stations, especially YouTube.tv, Sling, Futbol.tv, Being Sports. But there's, maybe Futbol.tv and Sling, these are apps that have been able to penetrate the market and compete with the big ones, like CBS, CNN, or whatever. All these TV stations that have a lot of money, they've been able to penetrate and sell subscriptions for soccer matches. Now, do you think it's a possibility that inside your app, in some type of near future, maybe you can collaborate with Sling or Futbol.tv, where people pay the subscription right in your app, and you can actually watch the matches there as well, and people don't have to leave your app, but you're also benefiting these other companies as well?
That would be peak. I have actually had a couple of conversations with that around people who do have those rights, and there's a lot of benefits for them as well, because we can basically platform their content.
Absolutely.
So I spoke to One Football about this. They're like a big brand. We could actually just pipe their content in. We're going to do the same with RotoWire, because people just love it. Like they love being kept up to date with what's going on. They go on the app. Like, this is actually going to become like the best place just to come and find out about football. Like lineups, we're going to have like predicted lineups in here. Every time a player is injured, there's going to be a little notification. So there are guys, these are the RotoWire guys. So we're signing a deal with them now. They just basically pay guys to sit there all day, sift all the news, condense it into like little bite-sized bullets, and that's just going to be streaming. So then when you're playing the game, you don't have to think, oh shit, I'd better like search this player and check if he's injured. Like if he's injured, he will appear in that list, because you can trust the RotoWire nerds. Like they're on it. So all this like makes playing it way easier. And I think that helps retention. It helps a lot of casual players stay around as well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I like it. I like it. Now, some players told me in the comment section about sniping. I didn't participate in the drop, so I'm not really sure how that works. But are you guys optimizing to eliminate that? I know it's not easy. I know some of it is like it goes to the users, but how does that work? Why are people talking about sniping? Is that even happening right now?
No, you can't really bot this game in the traditional way, but it is just absolute chaos. Like when we drop them, um, it's basically fastest finger first. So that 0.0125 price, which is the base price, only one guy gets that, right? And
Mm-hmm.
he goes to Valhalla. So
Yeah.
everyone is like smashing this button. People are setting like 200% slippage to try and get through, and it's insane. So there's kind of no way of making that. It's not fair. You have to look at that as like just enjoy the chaos. You might get lucky, you might not. But those have proven to be like really popular events where people were saying, I haven't experienced this since like a 2021 NFT mint. Like this is crazy. But the worse it got, the more fun they seem to have. So like we were having like we had some issues on our end some of the times, just like we were not ready for the load the first few times. We just grew our user base like quadrupled overnight, and the next time they all did it, we just kind of fell over. We fixed that, and then the next night we hit the base limit because we'd improved our efficiency. Like we basically made a bigger motorway, more people filled it, and then we hit the base limit the next day. So people are not able to trade, and they're like, "Why aren't my trades going through? I bet the bots are sniping all this." And nah, it was just like traffic and a bit of chaos. But the last time we did that, it went very, very smoothly. So we're getting better as well. But I can't reassure people that they're just going to get what they want in those events because they are kind of chaos and they are kind of designed that way.
Hmm.
It's ultimately like giving crypto Twitter what they want.
What about allocations? Timed allocations. Like, okay, we're dropping this. The first 20 minutes ago is allocated only for and a certain amount only for the people that have XP over this amount, and then the rest of the tokens that we're gonna drop is like public, kind of like
Yeah.
almost like traditional whitelist type of vibe. But the
We
white,
sort of
but whitelisted through XP, right? Or like
we
through.
sort of do that. So the last drop we did, we had to ban all new accounts that weren't created within 3 days.
Mhm.
Just because everyone was like starting to multi-account it and bot it and whatever. So we basically only gave allocation to like the good lads, the high trust score guys. Even then, it's chaos because there's quite a lot of them now. We even have people like they make a good account to like have as like the the one they get rewards on, and then they make three bad lad accounts where they're just trying to flip, and we know it, like, and we can tell. All of this is just it slows it down, man. Like
Yeah, yeah.
it takes resource to do it, but we will because it is really important to like seed the market with like the right holders, and like create that stable environment. If you want like the VIP experience where it's like not chaos, not fastest finger first, the founder pack sales is the one. So this will be like a 48-hour buying window, not over allocated. You've got your whitelist because you're a good lad, and that will be a like relaxing experience, and you will get that base price. So the founder packs are the way we reward that sort of thing. But when the players open on the market, it is chaos.
Yeah, yeah. Hook me up with that founders pass. You already know. Will you consider providing more incentive to other collections, chains? Because right now I see like Pudgy and all this stuff and other collections, but there's more out there. For example, I know a lot of people talk shit about Ronin, but it has gamers. There's a lot of football players there, like people
Mhm.
that love football. I mean, and especially there's a lot of Latinos there, from South America, Argentina, Colombia. They have a big audience of that, and I think
Yeah,
maybe providing some incentives to Ronin, to other collections. Doesn't have to be Ronin; it could be anything else. But some people ask that, and I think it's a fair question.
I'm down. I think we did a partnership with Moonbirds this week, which was the first one we've done officially. So yeah, if anyone wants to introduce us to like sort of people who do have like sporting audience, and they're everywhere. Like no one often talks about football before, but crypto fan, like crypto, there are sports fans everywhere in crypto. They just never really talked about it a lot. Doesn't matter what community you go in, there's fans. So yeah, super open to that. Just let us know what you want to get added, and we'll work with those teams.
When are you putting back referrals?
Yeah, we had to turn. This is why we can't have nice things, because there are a lot of people like that. Like once you hit a level on crypto, you just get attacked. Like we've been fighting bots, bot farms, people like flooding our Discord with like paid footers, like people talking shit on socials and like spreading misinformation. And one of the things they were attacking was our referral system, not just to trying to grift a pro pack, because you can't even, it doesn't work economically, because you can't, unless you earn the skill points by playing the game, you can't even realize the value. But we think they were doing it just to like slow us down. Like you pick up enemies, like if we succeed, there are people out there who lose something. So yeah, they were using the pack opening by just like getting bots to spam it over and over, which is what was causing the slowdown on Sunday. So once we figured out like what they were doing, we just had to take away that attack vector, basically. So it is already restored. Like you can do the referral now, but it's not linked to packs anymore. So it's going to be linked to just like, we're literally just going to pay you money, because they can't exploit that, if, and then we can check like who are actually the legitimate people, because we'll know who they are. So yeah, these guys slow us down, but they will not stop us doing what we need to do.
Yeah, I see how it is. Now, I'm sorry because there is one last question that I just read from a user, and this was today, another big creator in the crypto gaming space. His name is Meepo. And he did tweet today, he was mad about, the pack opening having less shares. What's your take on this? Why you do it? Is there obviously there has to be an economic kind of like reasoning behind this, or maybe not, I don't know. So maybe you can speak to that a little bit there.
It doesn't have less value. So like obviously, imagine like at the start of the game, thousands of shares were coming out of every pack because they were low priced. So as the market grows, you get fewer shares in the pack, but they're of the same value.
I
So
see how it is. Yeah, it makes sense
you're
now.
not, you're not being rugged. It's just
It's
it's a
matching.
dynamic it's a dynamic economy. So like
Mm.
the value you're getting is relative to what's in the market effectively. So we this is a very different thing. No one ever does this, but we do it basically on an individual tournament basis, like what is going to feel rewarding to the users, but isn't going to piss way too much supply into the economy, because that's bad for the users. It's not actually our money. Like we're just kind of like, because we don't take the money in the first place, like you spend $1.95 goes into the liquidity pool. We're not actually giving them back. There's no like reward pool in the traditional sense. The reward pool is the liquidity pool.
Yeah.
What we're trying to do is manage making the tournament feel rewarding without issuing too much supply via packs, basically. And that's 75% maths and about 25% autism. We have a quant who literally sits there all day and runs those numbers and makes sure we're getting it right, and we'll get better at it as we go. I had some really mixed feedback about like whether people felt rewarded or not. So some people were like, "This is incredible." Other people were like, "I didn't get anything." Some of it, like the rewards in the economy are strong. Like people are getting good like returns, but what people don't always realize that it is a skill game. Like if you finish like bottom 25%, you do get nothing. Like that is by design, and it's not something you can just farm. You actually do have to beat other players, and if you get to the top of the leaderboard, you will have enough skill points to kind of realize all of your pack openings. If you're like mid or lower, you won't. You'll have to start making choices about like which ones are better to upgrade. And this is like one of the kind of hidden depths that people aren't working out yet, is that what everyone does when they get to their promote screen is they try and promote Yamal because they go, "Oh, he's the most expensive." It's really shit value to do that, actually, because he's so far ahead of like the rest. Whereas if you promote the more better value players, you actually get more for your money. So people are figuring this out, and I think we can do a better job of like explaining it as well. But yeah, I think people will get used to it as the weeks go by.
Absolutely. Hey, bro, thank you for your time. I want to thank you right now for your time. I appreciate, coming in this busy schedule. I know it's busy as fuck now. Everybody wants to interview you. Everybody wants to play the game. Everybody has opinions, all this crap on Twitter. But it's part of the game. It's part of the game. And I appreciate you going to every single channel because you are doing kind of a look at nets kind of strategy, don't discriminate against any channel. Just go in there, talk your shit, and put the word out there, and that is the way that it should be. But yeah, anyway, I appreciate your time. Where can people find you? And some last words about your app, something that people might be looking forward to, or anything that you want to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, so you can expect another month of chaos on futbol.fun. So we've got more drops. The Founders Pack sale, I think, is going to be really popular. Just zoom out on the chart, realize like how early this is, and come and hop in and have fun with us. It's going to be, I think it'll be a wild ride in the next month. And I think over time, people are going to realize like this is actually not just something which entertained CT for 2 weeks. This is actually my dream product, like the thing I've always wanted to build for a long time. And we're going to be sticking around for a damn good while yet.
Thank you for everything. I appreciate your time. Let me stop the recording right here.